just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos.
Network.
Now we can share with you some of the pictures that were sent in to us. And the first of them is this one from River State, showing residents fetching water in containers. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the government to provide potable water for them. Next is this one from Kebbi State, showing a truck loaded beyond capacity. Our eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety Corps to reprimand traffic offenders. And our next photo was sent in from Warri in Delta State. It shows a long queue for petrol. Our eyewitness reporter is urging the relevant authorities to look into the problem of artificial scarcity. And the next one is from Agege in Lagos State, showing an ongoing road project. Our eyewitness reporter says this project has been hindered by the residents who are making demands on the contractors. Finally is this one from Isolo here in Lagos State, showing an electric pole bending over onto the motorway. Our eyewitness reporter wants the concerned distribution company to take action.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thanks a lot for sending in all your pictures, and we ask you to send us some more. The founder of Dark Communications PLC, Chief Raymond Dokpesi, has been rearraigned today at a federal high court in Abuja following the reassignment of his case to a new judge. Chief Dokpesi, who is standing trial for alleged money laundering, pleaded not guilty to the charges of laundering 2.1 billion naira when they were read to him by the new judge, Justice James Soho. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
The founder of Dark Communications in company of his friends and loved ones as he returned to court for the commencement of his trial. That was not to be, as his case has been reassigned to Justice James Soho from Justice Gabriel Kolawole. As a result of this development, he was rearraigned on the same charges for which he entered a plea of not guilty. After taking his plea, his lawyer, Chief Wole Olanipekun, urged the new judge to admit the businessman to bail in the former terms earlier granted by Justice Kolawole, saying that Chief Dokpesi had been of good behavior since the commencement of the suit.
In most cases, it's also usual, except where an accused person has shown during the grant of the bail, during when he was enjoying the bail condition, that he did something, either to tamper with evidence or to tamper with the witnesses or to attempt to abscond from jurisdiction. The succeeding judge usually, in his discretion, passionately grant the bail on the former terms and conditions of the previous bail. And our lead counsel, Chief Wole Olanipekun, did ask the judge, after a fresh plea was taken, that the bail conditions that were being enjoyed by High Chief Haliru Dokpesi, that he should continue to enjoy them.
This plea was not opposed by the prosecutor, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, who informed the court that he was more interested in commencing and advancing with the trial.
I don't want that one to delay the trial. I'm interested in trial. So they are just new lawyers are coming in, so and they want match day to the second and third that we had before. So I think it's good for me.
An agreement between the two parties that Mr. Raymond Dokpesi should continue on bail, as granted by Justice Gabriel Kolawole, was endorsed by the now trial judge, Justice James Soho, who also adjourned the case to the 2nd and 3rd of March 2016 for commencement of trial. Mr. Dokpesi and his company are standing trial for alleged money laundering and procurement fraud to the tune of 2.1 billion naira. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Let's stay with legal matters now. A prosecution witness in the trial of the former PDP chairman Haliru Mohammed today told the court that 300 million naira from the funds meant for the procurement of arms was paid into the account of a company owned by Mr. Bello's son. Mrs. Rukaya Ibrahim, who appeared as witness for the EFCC, said the money was paid into 2 tranches into the accounts of BAM projects and properties owned by Bello Abba Mohammed. The former PDP chairman, Mohammed, is being tried along with his son before the Federal High Court in Abuja on a 4-count charge bordering on criminal breach of trust and money laundering. The witness, a forensic analyst, stated that the accused persons, through the firm, drew the money from an account of the Office of the National Security Advisor, operated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The case has been adjourned to Tuesday, February the 23rd, for continuation of trial. And the former Minister of Aviation, Babalola Burishade, and 4 others have lost their bid to stop their trial before the FCT High Court. Now, Justice Abubakar Sadiq Umar today refused to stop further hearing into the suit filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against Mr. Burishade and 4 others. The ex-aviation minister, his former personal assistant Tunde Dairu, and 2 others are alleged to have mismanaged 5.2 billion naira aviation safe tower contract. They were first arraigned on November the 19th, 2009 on a 15-count charge of taking bribe and forging aviation contract documents. Ruling on the application, Justice Umar said that withdrawal from a case by a lawyer from a private firm does not constitute abandonment or lack of appearance of the prosecution. He then adjourned to March the 7th, 2016 for continuation. Now, the anti-corruption war of the present administration has seen the arrest and questioning of very prominent Nigerians. But the argument of many is that not many convictions have been recorded. But for the EFCC, progress is being made. And joining me now on the News at 10 to look at the anti-corruption war is a legal practitioner, Mrs. Ayo Ube. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Hello, good evening.
Now, the EFCC have said that they're making progress with the number of arrests that have been made and the courts have been really busy. What's your opinion?
Well, I think that we have to distinguish between people being invited for questioning, people being questioned, and then people being tried. And the reports that you were reading out just before we started talking showed that there are a number of trials that are going on, and those trials are progressing. And I think that's really what Nigerians want to see. And at the end of the day, we want determination by the courts. Because however much one might, there might be a lot of newspaper or media headlines about this one has been invited, this one has been arrested, and so on and so forth. The real meat of the matter is that this is a judicial process in which you have charges, you have the opportunity to defend yourself against those charges, and at the end of the day you have an impartial judicial determination of whether those charges are proved beyond reasonable doubt or not.
So what about the argument that it takes quite a long time, and in many of these cases a lot of money is involved? We're talking about trying to recover stolen funds in cases where the people are found guilty, and that might take quite a long time. What about that argument?
There's no doubt that the mills of the law grind slowly, but as the saying goes with regard to the mills of God, they grind exceeding small. You just referred to a case against the minister that was commenced in 2009. It hasn't been forgotten. This is 2016, and we are still, he's still facing his charge. So in comparison, I might even say that the present charges, some of the other charges that are being brought in respect of the arms procurement scandal, those are actually being brought with almost indecent haste. It's a fact that the judicial process is not speedy, because even if the prosecution is ready, they've had plenty of time to prepare. Now the defense must also have time to prepare. And then, of course, judicial time is, the judges are not generally sleeping, so and the criminal courts don't even have the vacation that the civil courts have. So I don't think that they're taking too much time. I think we're making a lot of progress is being made. But of course, the scale of what is being alleged means that there has to be, there's bound to be some kind of backup.
Okay, what about in terms of prosecuting this war, the EFCC chairman did speak about the role of lawyers. He was unhappy about the role some lawyers play, blocking the progress they're making. What would you say about that?
I think the EFCC chairman is a little bit like a librarian who says, oh, this library would be wonderful if people wouldn't keep on coming and taking out the books. It goes with that's what a trial is. And in fact, I would say that we don't want to end up in a situation as the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights had recently had to talk to say in regard to China, that they don't seem to really understand the role of a lawyer in a trial, and they perceive that because somebody is representing a client, that they are somehow defeating the ends of justice. The ends of justice themselves require that the case against an accused person should be tested. And I'm sure that the EFCC chair would not want it to be said that, well, he's got all those convictions because the deck is all stacked against the accused person. People are afraid to come out and defend accused persons because they will be afraid of being arrested by the EFCC. So I think that if you were to have that, then nobody would really put any weight on those convictions. They would just be seen as the government really being the accused, the judge and the jury and everything. But this way, you have a situation where the case against an accused person is tested, and that's to the good of society as well as the accused persons.
What about when they say the lawyers are actually the ones perverting the course of justice in cases where they say it can be proven that that is happening?
Well, I mean, as I said, the great thing about accusations where they border on criminal conduct is that you have the chance to bring charges, because in many of these cases, the acts which are complained of are not hidden or secret. And in fact, we do know that cases are being brought against some lawyers. But it's also important to make sure that the EFCC does not stray into the territory that every lawyer who acts for a client finds themselves being the ones the subject of criminal charges. Simply because, as I said, if the case, if it becomes said of Nigerian justice that, well, no lawyer dares to defend somebody who is perceived as being against the government or the EFCC, then the quality of those convictions will not stand the test of time.
All right, legal practitioner Mrs. Ayobi, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the News at 10 tonight.
You're welcome.
Now, when the News at 10 returns, our community report looks at how the residents of Idumuje Uno in Delta State are coping without basic infrastructure. And that's coming up pretty soon. Do join us again.